Case 2. Address all potential objections, please. Certainly, Your Honor. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, if I may, let us now take a moment to address every conceivable objection, systematically and without evasion, so that no shadow of doubt remains as to the conclusion. The Mazzaroth is a system of observable, reliable cycles. Objection 1. The Mazzaroth is just mythology or symbolism. Response. Yes, the Mazzaroth is referenced in ancient sacred texts, and like many ancient terms, it carries symbolic significance. But symbolism does not cancel observation. Ancient people often encoded scientific knowledge in symbolic language. That does not invalidate the facts behind it. Constellations like Leo, Taurus, or Scorpio were named for mythological reasons, but the stars exist. Their positions are fixed relative to each other, and they appear cyclically. The symbolic interpretation is irrelevant to whether the cycles themselves are real. The sky is the same for believer and skeptic alike. Thus, even if the meaning attached to the Mazzaroth varies, its function as an observable, seasonal pattern remains indisputable. Objection 2. Modern science no longer uses the zodiac for astronomy. Response. This is partially true, but irrelevant. Modern astronomy focuses on celestial coordinates, redshifts, and orbital mechanics. However, astronomers still track the sun, moon, and planets along the ecliptic, which passes through the same 12 constellations known as the zodiac. In fact, NASA acknowledges the zodiacal path and even includes an additional constellation, Ophiuchus, that the sun passes through, proving the system is not only acknowledged, but actively used in calculations of solar and lunar positions. Whether or not scientists use the name Mazzaroth, the pattern it describes remains part of modern celestial mechanics. Objection 3. Constellations are arbitrary groupings of stars. Response. This is a popular objection, but it misunderstands the point. Yes, constellations are human-defined patterns, but the stars that make up these constellations return to the same positions each year in the same sequence. These groupings, arbitrary or not, have been used to mark time with consistency across civilizations: Babylonian, Egyptian, Greek, Chinese, and Hebrew. Whether the ancients saw a lion or a dragon in the sky doesn't matter. What matters is that they recognized a pattern, and that pattern repeats annually without fail. It is the cycle, not the naming convention, that defines the Mazzaroth. Objection 4. Precession of the equinoxes causes drift in the constellations over time. Response. Yes, the Earth's axis wobbles over a 26,000-year cycle. This is the precession of the equinoxes. But let's examine the facts. This precession causes a gradual shift, approximately 1 degree every 72 years. It would take thousands of years for this to significantly affect the seasonal appearance of the constellations. Even now, the constellations still appear in the same sequence and timing each year from the perspective of Earth-based observers. Thus, while precession adjusts our long-term alignment, it does not alter the annual reliability of the Mazzaroth. It may slightly shift dates over centuries, but the cycle remains intact and observable. Objection 5. The Mazzaroth is not scientifically recognized as a system. Response. Let us define what makes a system. A system in science is a set of interacting components forming an integrated whole. The Mazzaroth qualifies because it includes a defined sequence of constellations, components. It follows the ecliptic path of celestial bodies, interaction. It repeats an irregular annual cycle, integration and function. While scientists may not use the name Mazzaroth in journals, they absolutely use and rely on the astronomical structure it describes. You cannot observe the heavens, chart planetary motion, or calculate eclipses without referring, whether explicitly or implicitly, to this system. Objection 6. The Mazzaroth has astrological baggage and shouldn't be treated as legitimate. Response. Let's draw a line here between astrology and astronomy. Astrology is a belief system about how stars influence human lives. Astronomy is the scientific observation of those same stars and their movement. The Mazzaroth predates astrology. Its use as a timekeeping and navigational system does not depend on astrological claims. Denying the Mazzaroth's reliability because some have used it mystically would be like denying the value of the periodic table because of alchemy. Objection 7. Theories like heliocentrism or relativity change the interpretation of the sky. Response. Yes, modern theoretical frameworks have explained the motion of celestial bodies more accurately, but they have not changed the observations themselves. In a heliocentric model, the Sun appears to move through the constellations because Earth is orbiting the Sun. In relativity, gravity is described as space-time curvature. Neither theory invalidates the repeating appearance of constellations in sequence. These frameworks reinforce the reliability of the cycles described by the Mazzaroth. They provide mechanism, not contradiction. Final statement. Your Honor, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the Mazzaroth is not mythology alone. It is reliable observation. It is not obsolete, but rather the foundation of celestial navigation and timekeeping. And no theoretical model, symbolic variation, or astronomical nuance has ever been able to deny this simple truth. The Mazzaroth is a system of observable, reliable cycles, consistent, testable, and as faithful as the rising sun. I respectfully submit that any reasonable person, after weighing all the evidence and answering all objections, must return only one verdict: confirmed. Beyond a reasonable doubt, I rest my case.